Hello everyone, Voan here today. Finally back from a very long hiatus, so haven't got a chance to do any videos until now. Finally feeling much better now, finally got new stuff to tell. So today we're gonna look at this thing. Inside this nice little pouch here is a emulation handhelds. So this is one of those emulation handhelds that a few people talk about. Uh, it's a handheld from China. So I think if you look around the web, you're actually seeing people already talking about this. But I bought this like 2 years ago, back in like the 2020 or 2021, around that time. So I was pretty much at that time. I was pretty much like ill. So in pretty much from all of the COVID stuff. So I was trying to see if I could find something to pass the time, and this handheld is one of the things that I was able to get. Now I did not buy this brand new. It's actually like a used unit I bought from somebody on eBay. So it's pretty cheap. I bought it around like $60. So I'm not gonna expect any good thing coming from this because I already tried it, and not everything is perfect the way it is. But I do have to say it does surprise me a bit. So we'll check out the units and we'll test out some games from it. It does have some really cool emulators on it too. So, and we'll compare the designs and all that stuff to other handheld as well. So let's open this up and let's see what we got. So as you can see, so inside this pouch we got the unit itself. It's called the PlayGo, and up here is the USB-C charging cable for the units. So if you this is pretty much all it came with. I'm pretty sure if you bought this brand new, it'll come with more stuff like a manuals and other nifty stuff, but the dude who sold me this did not give me any of that. It's just the charging and the handheld. So if there's anything extra that came with this, I probably won't have it. So but to check out the handheld, this is actually what we got. It's called the PlayGo, and if you look at it, it's actually quite small actually. So if you look at the design here, we got your usual D-pad, 4 space buttons, start and select menu buttons. The menu button wasn't labeled for some reason. Mono speaker right here, and a very small but kind of loose joysticks down here. This joystick, yeah, as much as it feels good on the hand, it's not really that super reliable. I mean, if you put this on your pocket and you're not careful, it could loose. So and same thing for these buttons. These buttons are, even though they are nicely designed, you can, if you touch it or tap it, you can see how finicky they are. It's almost like they're gonna pop out at any moment. So those are the only things I'm not quite a fan of when it comes to this handheld. Same thing from up here too, like these volume button here, the minus and plus volume button. So just tapping one makes the other one jump, and the thing is, if you're not careful and you drop this somewhere, there's a likely chance that these buttons will be the first one to pop off. So you really have to be careful with handling these. But up here you do have your volume buttons, your L1, L2, R2, and R1 buttons. So it's kind of like you got all the buttons you need to play any PlayStation or Super Nintendo games out there. USB-C ports for charging, your headphone jacks, and your power on and off buttons, so you can use this to turn the system on. On the side, there's really nothing in there. On the bottom, you got 2 micro USB ports. So the one on the left is used for the operating system, and the one on the right is used to transfer data. So you use it to put all your ROMs, movies, music, all that stuff in there. You also got, from the far right here, is a very tiny reset button. So if you just want to reset the system, you can just hit this, and that'll take you back to the menu, perhaps. Yeah. Other than that, this system, the way how it's designed, it's actually pretty good. I like the design of it. I like the D-pad and the face button, as well as these minor L and R buttons up here. You don't have any triggers, but you do have the. They do respond really good. And this D-pad is not stiff, so it feels very comfortable in the hands. You can do a lot of stuff with a lot of movements with this D-pad. Your Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombats and your Tetris and all that stuff will work just fine. Same thing for this joystick, although this joystick is not as comfortable. Like I said, this joystick along with these buttons, the menu buttons and volume buttons, these are the only three that worries me because these could easily get loose. So anyways, in comparison, to know how big or small this handheld is, we can compare it to other handheld that we have. So here's how it compares to a Nintendo Switch Lite. If you look at it, the Lite is much more taller. I mean, it's not even, the Lite is actually, you can see me in there, but the Lite is actually taller than this when you try to like put them together standing. Thickness of it though, the Lite is probably much slimmer. So if you compare the thickness with both, from the side and from the top. So yeah, that's pretty much how it compares to the Switch. If we compare it to the PS Vita, however, yeah, the Switch is still taller, but yeah, this thing is kind of small that it's actually like as almost the same size as the Vita screen, whereas the Switch screen, yeah, it's basically inside the Switch screen for some reason. So here's a comparison to Nintendo 3DS. So if we like shake it from the back, that's how much the thickness is to the Nintendo 3DS. So the 3DS is actually bigger from the thickness, from below. If we open the 3DS, that's pretty much how much it is. It can basically sandwich inside of it too. This screen down here is more akin to the GBA screen, whereas this one, the PlayGo screen, is almost as big as the top screen. So that's that's a good thing about this screen here. The only thing is that I like the 3DS screen. This screen is not HD. It's basically like a 320 by 240 screen, so you really won't have that big of a resolution. Although through the naked eye, it does look good though, in terms of the graphical stuff. Here's a comparison to the original GBA. So, original GBA from this side, the GBA is actually like a little bit higher in thickness. Same thing from the side, and same thing from the top. In terms of screen size, the PlayGo is actually much bigger in screens. The GBA screen is pretty much like the smallest of them all. So, yeah, in terms of how tall it is, I think the GBA is a little bit taller by a few inches, I think. So, yeah, that's pretty much how much it compares to any of those handhelds. So let's turn this on and we'll give it a little test to see how all the emulators and all those stuff turns out. So, okay, so this is how we turn on the unit. It's from Ambernick maybe? Anyways, this is what the UI looks like. You can see it has a very nice little desktop style menu. It's basically using a customized version of Linux, I think. It's through a operating system called Dingux. So this is like the application sections. If you press L and R, it goes through that to the next section, the emulators. So these are basically all the emulators you get on this. You got your usual main emulators, your Super Nintendo, Atari, Sega, Turbo, Arcade, Neo Geo, Commodore, 3DO, N64, all that. So yeah, it's a pretty nice list of emulators. There's like at least 40 of them, I guess, in there. Now, not all of them will work though, and not all of them, even though some will work, will not run properly. With the same thing with this DS one, N64 one, 3DO one. The 3DO one, I don't know if it will ever work. And this is an Amstrad one, which I don't know what it is. I have never seen Amstrad before, so. And from this section is all some of the built-in games. Some are good, some are not. Most are hit or miss. So let's test out some emulators and see how they run. This is the main emulator, so let's let's play out some Marvel superheroes. This is the arcade version of it, so see how the compatibility runs on that. It'll take a little bit time to load, so. So virtual audio. Okay, so we're fighting Iron Man. I guess the compatibility works okay. Yeah, and the control actually works fluid. Although this is a very old game. It's kind of one of my favorites back in the arcade days. So main works just fine. Another one I want to test is the NES emulators. So in here, let's play some Super Mario All Stars. There's a Mario All Stars ROM in here that you can try, and that's basically similar to what the Super Nintendo version is. Somebody actually compiled all the 4 Mario games in here into one. So that's a really nifty thing for them to do. All the Mario games in one place. So here they are. So this is Super Mario World and Super Mario All Stars. So you actually got 4 games. You got Mario. You have your Mario 2, Mario 3. So there's like the Japanese version of Mario 2 and the regular version. So we'll play through one level of each game. See how they fare. Okay, and also like the Super Nintendo version, you could save and continue or save and quit. So if we choose save and quit, it'll return us back to the menu. So we go to Super Mario Bros. 2 here. This is the Famicom Disk System version. So it actually loads directly from the disc. And because it doesn't have 2 sides, yeah, we're basically playing from one side. This is one of the more harder games in this collection, kind of like a lost level that was on Mario All Stars. So if you always want to try this one, this collection is good for that. Okay, so let's try, let's go to Super Mario Bros. 2, the other one. There it goes. Yeah, they even do like a pause menu for this game too. That's nice. And this is Super Mario Bros. 3. So in terms of controls, compatibilities, and gameplay, it works just fine. There's no compatibility issues or any performance issue with any NES game. So now this is the pause menu. If you want to access the emulator menu, you gotta press power up here. This is basically what the emulator menu looks like. So you can load ROMs, reset, do flip disk if you playing the Famicom Disk System game. You got save states. You can take screenshots, and the settings for videos, audios, and all that stuff are in here too, as well as remapping and stuff. So that's really nice actually. But let's get out of that. Let's try some Super Nintendo. I really want to try that Mortal Kombat hack that they have for it. So there's a Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 hack where they put contents from both MK3 and Ultimate in there. So let's try that and see how that one goes. There's 2 versions. I don't like the deluxe one though. The deluxe one has a jumbo mumbo of mess in there. So I'll try the regular ones. Whoever created this hack did a really good job of implementing all the missing content. It does have audio issue though. There's inconsistency with some of the sound in this game. You can see how a little bit annoying some of the stuff are. So if we enter here, yeah, you can hear the inconsistency right now. So we do want these options turned on. Go to the cooler stuff section. We got quick finish, hidden character. We want that. We want combat zone on. On. Yeah, those sounds are really crazy. Yeah. Max fatality time. The timer off. Combat zone on, enable pause on. So, what do we do with the cooler stuff today? So, enable pirate code, we want that off. Yeah, that's basically all we got, so. And here's what the all the content looks like. So we can play as Motaro, we can play as Shiva. You can play with Human Smoke or this other guy. I'll just pick Cyrex though. Yeah, those audio is quite annoying. And over here, you can play Master or this Ultimate Master section. And like many other hack, yeah, all the contents from both games are in here, including some newer ones like this graveyard stage that were missing earlier from the other version. So here we're actually playing in that missing stage. Yeah, it's actually feel pretty good. They did put the wrong music here, but I kind of see why, because the graveyard music is not even in this game. Come on, Jade. Come on. So let's kill Jade. So there it is. There's that Mortal Kombat game for Super Nintendo here. So to exit, we can exit Pocket Station, Pocket SNES. So okay, so we got that. Let's try some GBA stuff. Now the GBA does have issue with some games, and I'm gonna demonstrate one of them. There's a Dragon Ball Z game where if you play it normally on an emulator, it will just crash like 20% of the way. But there are a few things to there are a few workarounds for that too. So that game is Legacy of Goku 2 here. And Legacy of Goku 2, there's a section where you play at the beginning. You're supposed to meet up with all the other Z fighters. But halfway through like a quarter of the way through there, you got stuck in the world map. Let's go down here. I demonstrate how that is. So this is the very beginning, where after we fought Frieza in that dream. So now we're supposed to meet up with Krillin and all those other Z fighters, Z characters. So if you try to go there, you can't, because the system will not let you. So if you enter it right now, yeah, that's what you get. This game will not run on the hardware found, so it'll boot you right back at the beginning. Yeah, the FMV is actually pretty good in this game too. I don't know why the first one doesn't look like that. But one trick is that if you have any of the later files in here, you can use those, and then later on this one will work. So let's go to Northern Wasteland. So the Northern Wasteland took place after we met the Z fighters. So if we go like that, yeah, if we go here, we actually meet the Z fighter now. So right now, we're actually like past that part where Gohan is supposed to meet them. But if we use the emulator and we reset, so if we reset and we go back to that third save file again, this time it'll let us fly. So if you go back to the third one, so because we picked a later save file, the system will think that now we're playing the actual game on the actual hardware. So now we can actually go past that map screen. And that's really the workaround that will actually let you do that. So yeah, now you can enter the world map without that prevention. So if we go back to the normal wasteland, we'll be there this time. We can fly to it. So there it is. So that's a very, very good workaround for games like that. Grand Theft Auto is also like that too, where at the beginning, after that cutscene with Vinny, it wouldn't let you go through any further. But if you use an emulator on PC, if you have like a save file, a later save file, you can actually work around that as well. Another emulator I really like is the Genesis Pico Drive emulator. So let's find Pico Drive. And this Pico Drive is good because not only can you play Genesis games, you can also play Sega CD games. And let's test one of those right here. This is Lunar. So if you ever want to play Sega CD games on the go, now you have that option. I'll test this and another one, and then we'll go play some Genesis. There's also Turbo CD games that also works here too. So Lunar, the Silver Stars, you can tell it loads just fine. And that's how the opening is. A very old school opening. Yeah, it got vocals. A vocal song too. Okay, let's press start. And I got like a save file in here already, so let's continue with that. We're at Condor Isle, so okay. And I'll show you how the battle system goes. So this is what the world map looks like. We're walking around. Let's see if we get into a battle. The battle is kind of similar to Final Fantasy a little bit, but it does have its own twist. It's turn-based as well, so it took a while for battle to happen. This one, the random battle doesn't usually. They don't abuse it as much as Final Fantasy does, so they don't happen all that often. And it has auto attack, so you don't have to constantly press A all the time. You could if you want to though. So right now we're playing with Luna and Alex. Music sounds really good too. So you can see, even though it's turn-based, the character could actually walk around the field, unlike in Final Fantasy where you're just stuck to one side. So yeah, that's actually pretty good. Let's test another Sega CD games. Sonic CD, if you want to see that. Here we got some Sonic CD stuff in here. So if you ever want to play Sega CD stuff, Pico Drive on this PlayGo actually works very well. So there's Sonic CD. And this is where we last left off. So Metallic Madness. These levels are very weird sometimes. This is not like the one on the Nintendo Switch or the mobile phone. So you actually have a more challenging time with this than those other ones, because the controls are a little bit wonky and you've got a very finicky spin dash. Yeah, Sega really want to punish us in this game. Look at how they put these obstacles. Want to do the spin dash? Yeah, this is how you do it. It's not really as good as the one we had on Sonic 2. And there are quite some slowdown too. Look at all these crazy level design, man. You could get hit just by going through and not see anything like that. I really want to punish the player at this point, because this is how far I got to the game, so they're just throwing everything at you. Oh man, I don't have any rings, so if I keep going, I'll be toast. I'll try that level next time, but that's basically Sonic CD right there. You can play other games too, like for example Sewer Shark. So if you want to play some FMV stuff, you can do that. So if you look at Sewer Shark, it'll load up just like how it does. You can play some Night Trap in here too if you really want to mess around with all those traps and stuff. Although Night Trap was ported to Switch, this one, Sewer Shark, never got the chance. It's okay though, it's not really that good of a game, but some scenes are very hilarious though. The acting is like B-movie level production right there. Now there's some certain section on this game where I don't get how to get to, so there's a lot of time where I'll end up like this thing, where I just crash. Really just watch some of the video stuff, and then we'll test out some other games. But
another crash and burn. First time, huh, rookie? Hey, listen, I hear the boy you were ghost today. Now that's my main man. Greatest co-pilot to ever shoot the tubes. Give him your best stuff, and he'll keep you flying. Maybe all the way to Solar City, huh? Showtime. I'm Falco. We'll be hearing from you.
alright.
Welcome to the sewers, Bug.
This guy always bothers me.
He had that same tough guy spark on his face that you do. Till he hit the wall. They're out there now, blotting him up with handy wipes. But the ghost here, I always come back for more. Let's go, rookie! Take a deep breath, rookie.
Alright, so I'm not playing this one anymore because I really don't like this ghost guy at the very beginning. I know that he will become much more likable later on, but that's really like maybe like 90% of the way into the game. So, but yeah, there's a lot of good thing to like about this emulators. If you want to play Turbo CD emulators, for example Rondo of Blood, you can do that too. So this is Turbo CDs, and here we got Rondo of Blood. Castlevania Rondo of the Blood. So, let's see how it plays. There we go. Hey, it's even the translated version as well. So, let's start the game and see how it goes. Yeah. And it actually runs in full speed too, so that's great. I gotta say, it works pretty well. The climbing and jumping also looks good. Yeah. There you go. There you go. So that's how it works. Castlevania Rondo of Blood works just fine. Let's test some PlayStation games. If you really want to play PlayStation, we got the PCSX emulator right here. So let's test some Tekken 3. Usually if Tekken 3 doesn't work that good, then this emulator is not that good either. Same thing for compatibility of it. But for this one, Tekken 3 works just fine. It actually runs closer to full speed. So here we fight Forest Law. Come on, Law. Let's fight. I forgot what the combo, how the combo. Did it start out easy? There we go.
Round 2. Fight.
Ah, pink. There we go. Anyways, yeah, Tekken 3 works just fine. But there is some few games here that does have minor issues. For example, Street Fighter Alpha 3 here. Well, Alpha 2 is very good. Alpha 3, despite how good it is, has this screen. Had that screen on the right cut off that sometimes could get annoying to some players. So if you look at it, it's not consistent. But it does run just fine. It runs like at full speed. Everything works the way it should. Okay, so the only issue I do have is how the screen got cut off on the right side. So if you look at it, on this side, it's actually more accurate. The screen seemed to like start scaling from this. But if you look at this side, however, it looks like it's cut off a little bit here. It's almost like whoever made this emulator forgot to completely finish porting this ROM to make it look like accurate, because it looks like, for one, it's trying to present it in 4:3, but then on one side it looks like it still wants to be widescreen, so it kind of gives you like the options of both, and now this is like the result of it. Whereas this side looks accurate to 4:3, whereas this side it's kind of like we don't know. We're is it widescreen, and then it changes to this, and it forgot to scale to be accurate like the other side here. So you got a certain section cut off here. You can tell Sodden's one of the letters in Sodden's name is actually like gone, gotten cut. So it's not really a big problem, but some people do have an issue with it because it's not consistent with how the game present in the actual system. So it does play very good though. It's just that it's not accurate to the actual system. Anyone saw them? So that's how PlayStation works. If you want to play some old stuff, you can try some Atari 2600 too if you want. The Stella emulators. Let's try some Jungle Hunt. Jungle Hunt is one of my old favorites of this system. We do have some really do have a whole shitloads of emulator ROMs here, so it'll take us a lot of scrolling to get to Jungle Hunt. So now the Atari 2600 doesn't really have this many games. Most of these are just hacks and stuff. So it's like almost every game has like 2 or maybe like 5 or 6 hacks in there. But we'll eventually find Jungle Hunt and see how it goes. Alright, so here we are. So Jungle Hunt is right here. So there's a PAL version and some fixed versions. So let's try this one. So this is what Jungle Hunt looks like on the Atari emulator here. So all you gotta do is jump from vine to vine to get to the next level. Back in the old days, this is how we play games. So, so if you want to play Jungle Hunt on the go, this is how you do it. It's like your very own jungle games. Wow, almost missed right there, huh? And this is the swimming part. Fortunately, I don't like the swimming part that much, so anyways, yeah, that's basically how you play the Atari games. Let's try some Atari 5200. See how those goes. So, Atari 52. Let's try some pole position. So let's see, where's pole position at? There he goes. Okay, there you go. I have never played this actual one on the actual system, but playing on here actually feels very good. Very close to the arcade version too. And it actually runs in the correct speed. Though the controller could be wonky at times. Anyways, yeah, that's pole position for the Atari 2600. Next up, we'll try some Neo Geo Pocket Color. The Pocket Color is also one of my other favorite systems here, and it works flawlessly too on here. We'll try some Capcom, some SNK versus Capcom Match of the Millennium here. There's two versions, the base one and the ultimate one. If you play the base one, then all the unlocked characters is not going to be there. You still have to unlock them. But if you want the full roster, you play the ultimate one. So let's try the base one first and see what it looks like. So let's go attack, average. So you can tell there's like 4 characters missing on SNK side and 4 missing on the Capcom side. So, what happened? Okay, let's fight. There we go. It has a similar layout on this emulator to that of the Switch one, because some of these games were ported to Switch as well. There we go. Okay, so if we go to the ultimate one, so if we go here, the ultimate one will let us pick all the characters. So right now we got Yuri, Akari, Geese, and Iruri right here too. So Urochi Iruri and Evil Ryu. So if you want all the characters, the ultimate one is what you want. You basically got everyone now. There it goes. So yeah, that's the Neo Geo Pocket Color emulators. It runs really good. Now the regular Neo Geo emulators, yeah, that one has issue, and I don't want to really try that one. So to play any Neo Geo games in better form, it's better to just try them in Final Burn Alpha instead. So Final Burn Alpha is right here, and that's basically run the same as main. So since main works okay, that one works okay too. Let's try some Genesis games and then we'll wrap this up. Or let's try some Game Boy games and then we'll wrap it up. So here's some Game Boy Color stuff. So if you just want to play your Game Boy and Game Boy Color games in nice portable and other portable form, you can do that here. So So let's try ourselves in Zelda and see how Zelda works in here. So this is Zelda Awakening DX here. So here's basically what we go. Compatibility is actually pretty good. Yeah, that's some good music right there, huh? So yeah, GBA and GBC works just fine. So if you like your Zelda, your Mario, and your Kirby on the go, you can get it on here too. So also for these homebrew games, yeah, some of these are hit or miss. Some of them are just fan made stuff. You got your Metal Slug games, your Dooms, and all that stuff. Some of them, although they're good, like this Metal Slug one, they really screw it up though, because if you play this game right now, the B is the jump button and the A is the shoot, and that's not really comfortable with me. There's no way to remap that. So although it's a good game, they really don't have any options for you here. And if you want to play Doom, I think there's some Doom stuff. There's a free Doom right here you can play. It's basically similar to the one you play on DOS, but it does have some new stuff added to it. So it plays a lot like the PC version, but it has its own original levels, enemies, and all that stuff. So you get to shoot these mummy characters that can also shoot at you. Yeah, they shoot from some mummies with guns for some reason. Soundtrack is very good. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty fun game if you ever want to try it. But these don't really come with every one of these though. Sometimes if you're lucky you'll get it, but for some reason this one is already pre-installed here. But there are certain versions where they have some other stuff too. But it's a very good game if you want to try that. Another system I want to try is this DOSBox. DOSBox is the PC versions of the PC versions of Microsoft's old operating system here. And the game I want to try is Super Muncher. It's really an old educational games that I used to play when I was a kid. Still very fun too. Basically, they give you a toppet and then you eat whatever word or stuff is associated with that toppet. So right here it says four-legged animal. So you just eat whatever animal you think have four legs. So fox, pigs, donkeys, all that stuff. And the good thing about this version, other than the other two, there's a word muncher and a number muncher. This one is better because it has that gimmick of turning this muncher into another form, a super form, where you can kill these monsters. So let's see, hamster. Oh, yeah, I eat the wrong one. Let's see, four-legged creatures. Guess a newt, zebra, hamster, Chickmunks. Let's see, that's two-legged. Let's see, what else? Goats. There you go. Okay, now we got birds. So we can go and eat anything that has to do with birds. So, there we go. Now we get the super form. With this you can kill the monster so that they don't get in your way. Okay, let's see. Gray whales, pelicans, and animals with scale. So salmon, flounder, alligator. As long as they don't have fur, then they have scale. So let's see, snakes, swordfish, lizards, snakes, turtles, swordfish, snakes again, whatever, lizards. Let's see, the other lizards. And every few times they'll give you these storyline cutscenes, and you get to choose certain stuff. So with this, I think I forgot to look. Which one was it? Is it the blue guy or is it the yellow guy? I think it's the yellow guy. There he is. So it's not the yellow guy then. Yeah, that's okay though. I didn't pay attention to that. So, anyways, yeah, these are all the emulators that works just fine here. There's other emulators too, but I don't really. Yeah, they work just fine. Except that some of the more advanced ones, like this N64 ones and Commodore ones and 3DOs and DS one. All of these, although some of them works, they don't run as good because of compatibility stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had to test for. So let's turn this thing off and I'll give you my final opinion on this. Okay, so final opinion. What do I think about this handheld? I think it's a nifty little portable here. You can play any emulators, any games from those emulators. So Atari, NES, Commodores, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis, Turbos, all of those works just fine. Neo Geo Arcade also works just fine. As long as you don't play any of those more advanced stuff like Dreamcast, PSPs, and GameCube, Sega Saturn, N64, all of those will not work here. So, but yeah, if you like all the old stuff, anything that's GBA or lower or PS1 or lower are games that will work just fine here. So I say if you just want to play old school stuff, this will do you just fine. Just when you play it and when you take it on the go, be very careful because it is a very finicky little handheld. One drop and most of these will likely fall apart. Especially this batteries here too. I've been playing this for like almost 2 years now, and there's a time where this joystick pops out. Really, like, you really had to really look for it to put it back on. I don't know if they sell these separate though, because it looks like an off the shelf parts. So other than that, I think it's a really nifty handheld. All the control works as they should. Fighting game works just fine. Portable, all those puzzle games, platform games, as well as hacks and stuff also works. You do get hit or miss with some emulators, but you do get full speed with a few of them too. There's like 2 Super Nintendo emulators, like 3 or so Genesis emulators, 3 arcade emulators to that, 1 turbos, and like 3 or 4 Atari. So there's like a lot of things you can try. So I say if you want to try it, yeah, you can find these on AliExpress for around $90 or so, but this is a used one that I bought on eBay for around $60. So it's not really that expensive, but you do really need some good storage for this to get a lot of the games in here. I use like a 64 gig for this micro SD card on the left. On the right, I use a 256 gig. So I managed to get all the ROMs I need on here. So yeah, I have to say, if you really just want to play some old school game on the go, this will do you just fine. If I had to give this a grade though, I'd just give it an A+. It really is surprising to me that it managed to get a lot of stuff work like this. So it's a very fun little portable. If you want to play old school on the go, definitely try to see if you can get it. So I'm Voan, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.